Welcome. So one of the keys to shifting out of the mindset of being consumed with weight, body, or eating is called the if-then mindset. So the if-then mindset goes a little bit like this. So if I was this weight, then I'd be happy. If I had a six-pack, then I'd accept myself. If I could have a perfect day of eating, then I would feel better. So all of these if-then types of statements where we have if A, then B. And this is such a huge mindset when you're consumed with thoughts of changing your body or trying to get to a different weight or being obsessed with what you're eating and trying to adhere to something really specific or some type of diet. And we always think and believe that when we have the B part, the second part of the if-then statement, that's when our life will fall into place, and that's when we'll be happy, that's when we'll accept ourselves. And there's something so important and so crucial to realizing the illusion of this. So anytime you hear yourself say, if I was 115 pounds, then I would love my body, you have to realize the lure of this way of thinking. The lure is always in the future. It's always, you're always chasing the thing that you're trying to get. It's always one step ahead of you, and you never seem to grasp onto it. So a quick story, a couple years ago, I fell into a really, really intense restrictive cycle and, caught up in disordered eating and negative body image and hating my body when I looked in the mirror. And the way I was eating perfectly. So I wasn't eating any processed foods, no sugar, no breads, no white flour, so nothing that was really bad for my body. And I told myself, going into this way of eating, if I can just eat this way, then I'll be happy, then I'll lose weight. And, 3 or 4 months into this way of eating, I remember so distinctly looking in the mirror and thinking, well, I'm at the smallest size I've ever been. I was a size 3 jeans. I had always dreamed of this moment, of fitting into these jeans, of being this weight. And I thought to myself, but I could just lose a little bit more weight and then I'll be even happier. My stomach could be a little bit more defined and then I'll accept my body. And it just completely dawned on me that where was the end? When was I going to stop chasing this? I had chased this for 10 years, 12 years, without an end in sight. And every time I got to what I thought my then was, it changed. It became one step ahead of me. It was a lower weight, or trying to get a six-pack, or trying to make my thighs smaller. And it kind of dawned on me after I had this sort of moment with myself, if I don't know where I'm going, how will I know when I get there? So it had always been this journey of something ambiguous in the future, something that I was trying to achieve, trying to feel differently about my body or be more content or accept myself more. And it was never something tangible, never something set. And if it was set, it would always change. So I never, even if I had arrived, it was never enough. I was never good enough to achieve what I thought I would achieve by reaching that weight or being that size or eating a certain way. So it's really important to be aware of that voice. When you hear that voice in your head say, you look in the mirror and you say to yourself, well, if my thighs were a little bit smaller, then I would be content with my body. And it's so crucial to catch that voice, because behind that voice is a still, softer, quieter voice that knows that that isn't true, knows that, the futility of trying to chase this illusion, to chase this achievement that you can never seem to reach. Feeling the freedom in that statement of the realization of knowing that whatever you're chasing is always going to be one step away is really, really freeing. And I remember, back to my story, is looking in the mirror and just realizing that in that moment, that no matter what my body size was, I was at the skinniest I'd ever been. This is what I had tried to achieve for so long. And it still was, okay, but 10 more pounds and then I'll be happy. And the freedom of being able to say to myself, well, how else can I value my body? What else will it take for me to be happy with myself? There has to be another way besides a number or a size or a reflection in the mirror or adhering to a diet. And it's funny because people who struggle with especially food and eating and disordered eating and restricting and overeating, but also people who struggle with negative body image and being obsessed with achieving a certain weight, we're always looking for that one magic thing to cure us. It's that be all end all. Trying we think the Weight Watchers will fix us, or this new paleo diet will fix us, or whatever diet or weight or something, whatever it is for you, that would fix you, that this one magical thing that you could just solve all your problems. And for so long, for me it was weight. It was achieving this one weight. If I could just get to this size and weight, then whatever it was, I was always looking for that magic cure, that next thing to really, really bring that into my life and bring that satisfaction and that achievement into my life. So, no longer taking that mindset of looking for the next diet or cleanse or magic that will bring you happiness or bring you contentment or bring you satisfaction. And learning how to value yourself, value your body, value who you are as a person without it being related to a number, a size, or whatever way whatever diet you're adhering to. So 2 steps to start to get out of this if-then mindset. And the first one is, what would it mean to you to be happy with your body, your weight, and your relationship to food? Whatever issue you're really struggling with, ask yourself, what would it mean to be happy with this issue? And it's always really helpful to journal about it, or you can talk to a friend about it, but really taking some time to reflect on how do you value yourself without having it be related to a number, to your jean size, to the shape of your stomach or the shape of your thighs, and really trying to get in touch with that place that shows you how to appreciate and value yourself without looking to something to define you, without looking outside yourself. And really knowing that we aren't our bodies, so we're so much more than our bodies. And when we get so caught up in our size, our weight, our reflection, what we look like, we forget that there's so many other things related to us that make us who we are. Think about your best friend. You wouldn't judge her based solely on her weight and her size. And having a relationship with yourself where you can get in touch with your dreams and your goals and your hopes and your characteristics and your quirky qualities and what makes you who you are as a person, and being able to appreciate and value that will really start to help you step back from that if-then mindset, that if I was 140 pounds, then I would be happy with myself. No one has ever lost enough weight and then said, okay, now I feel acceptable. It's always, well, I lost 5 pounds, I could probably lose a couple more, or a couple more, and you get to that point and you want to end up losing a couple more. So no one has ever lost 5, 10, 15 pounds and has looked in the mirror and said, okay, that's it, now I feel acceptable. There are always so many other things going on there. There's, lack of self-confidence, or criticizing the size or shape of a certain body part, or the obsession with trying to reach the next goal weight and having it be lower and lower, and feeling that desire to just have your weight be really, really small and being able to control it. So, realizing that no one has ever lost weight and said, okay, now I feel comfortable. And it goes back to the story I was telling earlier. I had thought that I was eating perfectly, no junk food, nothing. So no one has ever looked in the mirror after they lost weight and said, okay, now I feel acceptable. And you have to realize the futility and the endless chasing that you get and that you have in your life when you are caught up in this mindset. So really starting to tap into ways that you can value and appreciate yourself without using a number or the scale or a size or even what you're eating. So the second tool to get out of this mindset isn't a question so much as a way of thinking. If you realize this, you'll start to be aware of how you can move out of that mindset and feel better in the moment. So think about when you make a statement like, if I cut out all junk food, then my body will look better and I'll be satisfied. What do we really want when we say that statement? We want to feel better. We think we will feel better when we lose weight, when we're a certain size, when we adhere to the new diet that will promise us we'll lose 10 pounds. So we think that we'll feel better. Anything that you want in the future is because you think you'll feel better. But it's always one step away. We're always going to be chasing it. There's never an end. And to realize that you can feel better in this moment is so huge to start to get out of that mindset. So the key here is being in the moment. And whenever we have worries and thoughts and struggles, no matter what it is, when we really actually sit down, close our eyes, take 5-10 deep breaths, we realize we're okay in this moment. There's never a moment that you're not going to be okay in. It's always our mind projecting into the future and saying, yeah, but what if this, or conjuring up some negative scenario, or being anxious about some unforeseen situation that may arise. So being able to bring yourself back into the moment, to access those qualities that you want now, that happiness, that contentment, that satisfaction with yourself that is accessible now in the moment. So bringing yourself back into now, whether that's deep breathing, whether that's going for a walk, whether that's just getting out of your head, going for a run, whatever gets you out of your head, back into your body, into the now, is where you will feel those qualities. So try it next time you have something you're really worried about, or some, really anxious body-related or weight-related issue that's coming up, or you're anxious about, what you're going to have for dinner, or that you ate too much, or that the pressure feels too great to sustain whatever way of eating that you're adhering to now. Just take 5 minutes to bring yourself back into this moment, back to your breath, deep breathing, closing your eyes, and just being here. And you'll realize that I'm okay now, in this moment. So everything that we want in the then statement, in the second part of the if-then statement, we have access to right now. And this is huge when it comes to shifting your mindset. Because if you can just keep bringing yourself back, you're crazy in your head and you're just thinking about all these things and you're just going nuts, bring yourself back into this moment and realize that you can access that feeling of what you're wanting, relief, happiness, contentment, whatever the feeling is that you're wanting, you can access it in this moment.